Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying an action thriller film entitled Olympus Has Fallen. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins in Camp David, the presidential retreat where the current president of the United States, Benjamin Asher, is staying. Secret Service agent Mike Banning and Benjamin are having a sparring session. Despite him being the president, Mike doesn't hold back. He punches him hard without any hesitation as the two have grown to become friends. Soon, another bodyguard named Dave Forbes arrives, reminding Benjamin of the Christmas banquet and fundraising event he has to attend in a few moments. Later, Mike knocks on their door, where Benjamin and the First Lady are preparing to leave. He then goes to Connor, Benjamin's son, who's also supposed to attend the ceremony. Connor begs to stay as those ceremonies are often very dull, especially for a kid. However, his mother denies his request, so he asks to at least ride with Mike. He then asks Forbes to guard Camp David while the others watch Benjamin and his family. As the group leaves the camp for the fundraiser, the snowfall outside begins to come down harder. As they near a bridge, the presidential limo hits a deer, slips, and spins out of control. The presidential limo ends up skidding near the edge, balancing dangerously. Mike and several other agents then rush to Benjamin and Margaret's aid. However, Margaret's door is stuck, and the limo is still sliding over the edge. Several agents try to keep the vehicle from going over. But, as their attempts fail, Mike makes a split-second decision and cuts Ben out of his seatbelt, saving him, but is unable to save Margaret, who goes over the edge in the limo. 18 months after the accident, Mike now works in the Treasury and has been removed from the presidential detail. He is still upset regarding the Camp David incident. Mike, who's at home with his wife, Leah, doesn't seem to be listening when Leah tells him something. Because his wife is annoyed at him, he tries to persuade her. He promises to take her on vacation as they have previously planned. After that, Mike meets with Secret Service Director Lynn Jacobs, who knows he is still distressed over his failure to rescue Benjamin's wife. She assures him he did what was necessary, and even Benjamin knows that. Nevertheless, he hopes that one day, he can return to being Benjamin's bodyguard and protect the man until the end of his term. Meanwhile, Benjamin is with Connor elsewhere, who plans to go back to Camp David for a retreat, but Connor would instead go to the beach. Benjamin invites him to get some ice cream, but his meeting is about to start. He meets with Secretary of Defense Ruth McMillan, Speaker of the House Alan Trumbull, and Vice President Charles Rodriguez over their upcoming meeting with the Korean Prime Minister. Soon, Prime Minister Lee and his aide, Kang Yonsak, arrive at the White House. On the other hand, an unidentified aircraft enters United States airspace without permission. When two U.S. fighter jets try to contact them, they shoot down the fighter jets and head toward the White House. Benjamin is alerted of the situation, and his security brings him out of his meeting with Lee. He's got to the presidential bunker and requests Lee to accompany him. Then, he asks for Connor, but they can't find him. Not long after, the enemy plane flies low over Washington, D.C. and launches airstrikes on civilians running for safety in panic. Meanwhile, Mike sees the chaos from his office. He rushes into the streets to protect civilians while other troops attempt to shoot down the enemy plane. However, the enemy plane manages to avoid the oncoming missiles. Still, they shot it down, crashing its wing into the Washington Monument before eventually exploding, causing the top of the monument to collapse and fall, killing several tourists. Mike soon notices a ground attack from mercenaries disguised as civilians and storms the White House and kills most of its defense forces. Inside the bunker, Kang and his men attack Benjamin's guards with the help of ex-SSA agent Forbes. They take Benjamin hostage and all state officials who were there. A group of North Korean terrorists plan all attacks outside and inside the White House. Meanwhile, Mike finally manages to infiltrate the White House when the terrorists have taken control of the place and kill the White House security forces. During the attack, Agent Roma declares to the radio, "Olympus has fallen," to signify that the terrorists have invaded the White House before being killed. After that, the terrorists immediately contacted the Pentagon via video call and killed Prime Minister Lee. King appears on the screen and says they have Benjamin and all the other essential officials hostage. He asks the Pentagon to withdraw its troops standing guard in front of the White House, leaving the Pentagon no choice but to comply with Kang's request to stand down. Then, Kang orders his technical expert, Lim, to sabotage the White House's security and weapons systems and fly drones to monitor the movement of U.S. military forces. After the United States military force withdraws, the terrorists throw away the United States flag. On the other hand, Mike manages to kill several terrorists, then disables internal surveillance. Soon, Trumbull arrives at the Pentagon and is now the acting president. Then, Mike gains access to Benjamin's secure satellite phone, which he uses to contact the Pentagon's emergency briefing room. Lynn then informs him that the president and other officials are being held hostage in the bunker and that his son, Connor, hasn't been found. Then, Kang contacts the Pentagon and orders Trumbull to immediately withdraw 7th Fleet and U.S. forces from the Korean Peninsula, thus removing American opposition to a Third Korean War. If Trumbull doesn't comply, then Park threatens to kill the officials one by one. In the bunker, Kang needs an access code to the Cerberus system, a secret protocol for controlling all United States nukes. The code is known only to Benjamin, Secretary of Defense Ruth McMillan, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Admiral Joseph Honig, who are all in the bunker. Benjamin orders Honig to reveal his code to save his life. On the other hand, Mike gets information from the Pentagon about the terrorist plans and that they entered the first Cerberus code. Trumbull then orders Mike to save Connor and get him out of the White House before the terrorists find him. He believes the terrorists will use Connor to force Benjamin to reveal his Cerberus code. Inside the bunker, Lim watches Mike's movements through the surveillance camera. Kang orders some of his accomplices to kill him. As he searches room after room in the White House, Mike finds Connor hiding behind the walls and smuggling him through the ventilation shaft. He's then received by U.S. military outside to safety. After successfully removing Connor from the White House, Mike takes down several terrorists and extracts information from them. He learns that the leader of the terrorist group is Kang Yonsak, head of the paramilitary organization Koreans for United Freedom. Mike then informs the Pentagon that Kang is one of the most dangerous and wanted terrorists worldwide. They then discover through records that his mother died because of an American landmine and that he's behind several terrorist attacks. Later, Kang connects to Mike's radio. He tries to taunt him by reminding him of how he let the First Lady die, but Mike promises to take him out. He tells Kang that Connor is already out of the building. So, Kang sends Forbes to kill Mike. Meanwhile, in the bunker, Kang tries to force McMillan to tell him the Cerberus code, but she refuses. So he tortures her until Benjamin, who couldn't bear to see the woman get brutally tortured, finally orders her to reveal his Cerberus code. She finally obeys Benjamin's orders and tells him the code. As he makes his way through the White House, Mike kills several terrorists and ends up meeting with Forbes. At first, Forbes pretends he's still on the side of the Americans. But when he mentions Kang's name, Mike immediately realizes that he is one of the terrorists. Mike attacks him and forces him to report to Kang that he has killed Mike before killing him. At the Pentagon, U.S. Army Chief of Staff General Edward Clegg notices only a few terrorists on the rooftops, which makes their defenses vulnerable to air attacks. Clegg convinces Trumbull to order an air raid by a SEAL team on the White House and to try to retake the White House from the terrorists. However, Mike advises them to wait while he goes to the rooftop to check things out before the Pentagon launches an airstrike. An impatient Trumbull ignores Mike's suggestion and immediately orders the SEALs to launch an airstrike on the White House. However, unbeknownst to the Pentagon, Kang and his accomplices learn of their plan via the drones they have flown earlier. Once the SEALs arrive at the White House and prepare to attack, Kang activates the highly advanced Hydra 6 anti-aircraft system, bringing down 2 of the SEAL team's helicopters. Trumbull immediately aborts the mission while Mike destroys the Hydra 6. But, in the process, he falls through the roof. The helicopter crashes into the White House and causes a big explosion that severely damages the building. Because of the Pentagon attack, Kang retaliates by executing Charlie and threatens to kill Benjamin if Trumbull doesn't comply with his demands. After that, Kang demands a full-fuel helicopter to escape from there. Trumbull calls Mike and tells him he has 30 minutes to save Benjamin before Kang gets his demands. Mike then calls Kang, threatens to kill him, and cuts off all their video access. Knowing that Mike is still alive, Kang moves to execute McMillan outside the White House, right in front of the media. But Mike immediately attacks Kang and his accomplices, forcing them back into the bunker until the U.S. military finally rescues McMillan. The time is running out for them, so Trumbull follows Kang's demands. He immediately ordered to withdraw the 7th Fleet and all U.S. troops from the demilitarized zone in Korea and brought the helicopter to the White House. Then, Kang orders some of his accomplices, as well as the remaining hostages, to go to the chopper. They're dressed in similar clothes and masks to trick the American soldiers outside. When everyone is on board, the helicopter explodes and kills everyone. Everyone believes Benjamin has died, but Kang's trick doesn't fool Mike. Mike tells the Pentagon he's going to the bunker, believing that Kang and Benjamin are still there. Meanwhile, Kang activates the United States' most extensive nuclear control system with 2 Cerberus codes. Millions of people in America will perish, and the country will become a barren wasteland due to the imminent nuclear catastrophe. When Kang and his remaining accomplices try to escape, Mike immediately ambushes and kills all of them except Kang. During the ambush, Benjamin gets shot by Kang in the stomach until Mike finally confronts him and engages in hand-to-hand combat. Benjamin momentarily distracts Kang so that Mike can kill him. Mike immediately approaches Benjamin and tries to stop the bleeding to save his life. Benjamin then tells him that Cerberus is activated. With the help of Trumbull and his staff, Mike finally succeeds in deactivating Cerberus and preventing a nuclear disaster from destroying the country. After that, he brings Benjamin out of the White House to receive medical treatment. Everyone in the Pentagon is relieved and cheers for Mike's success in saving Benjamin and the United States from destruction. Later, Benjamin reunites with his son, Connor, outside the White House while Mike and Leah gratefully embrace each other. The movie ends with Benjamin making a speech about the attack. He declares that the United States will soon recover and come back even stronger. After that, Mike gets reinstated as the head of the president's security detail. Benjamin proudly shakes Mike's hand in thanks for saving his life and the United States from destruction. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos like this, and help the channel grow.